Welcome to Surf Dudes with Attitude, a podcast about California dreams. This is Pete from New York City, welcoming another New Yorker.
It's just me. It's James. I'm also
James.
from New York
It's
City.
James. I think everybody expecting not to be you, every time just gets so excited that they get to hear you again.
Here I am.
Man, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, bub. How are you?
Well, we're back here. We're talking about California dreams, and I had totally forgotten that this past weekend they actually had gotten together, and they got together and they did their thing. They had a reunion show in Nashville.
Who got video?
I saw a couple clips. We saw some of our diehard fans. We saw some of our patrons there.
Oh.
I scoped some pictures of some people that had actually gone that had been fans of our podcast. So
were those people from Nashville?
No, I think some of them traveled a lot more commitment than we did, apparently. So we did really want to make it after this one. We hope the show was good. The clips I saw were good. You know, they had to make do. I think only I'm going to call them by their character names. Only Matt, Tiffany, and Sam could show up for this show. But Sly was there, so don't worry.
The show wouldn't be complete without Sly. I mean, that's pretty good though. That's like 4 out of like the cast of 6 or 7.
3 out of the 6 or 7 people that had been in the band total. Yeah, I guess this one was kind of a smaller venture, but I mean, have you played a show like that where just some of your band members couldn't show up and you just had to kind of make do?
No. I've never experienced that. Usually that would require the cancellation of the show, but
yeah. So I think we've had to do it. I just got invited to a Refused concert tonight that's happening later this month, and I remembered when I saw them in Philly a couple years ago, one of their guys got stuck at the airport and he had some visa issues, so they were holding him overnight, so he just couldn't come out to the first couple shows of this tour.
Damn.
Because they're Swedes and stuff, and you can't trust Swedish people as far as you can throw them.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they made it work, so I'm sure the California Dreams did too, and we're definitely going to make it to the next one. But until then, we're fully in the throes of season 3 here, and we do have this episode. Unfortunately,
wait. So I just have one question before we dig into this. Was it just them, or do they have like a backing band or band members that weren't on the show?
That I didn't explain this to you. So when I saw them in New York, they So when I say they're there as a band, they have full backing band behind them. And Matt is the only one that plays guitar. Brentley Gore is the only one that plays guitar. And the rest of them have microphones in front of them. Now, when Sly is there, he's with Lorena, who we know from this season. And they just kind of dance to the side sometimes. And Sly Michael Cade comes up and sings part of a Bon Jovi song every show. So them playing at Bon Jovi's place of business is actually the only apropos place that should have happened. So
just a smart business decision.
They have little gags that they do throughout the show, but mainly Matt is playing throughout the entire thing, which is cool. But Jake doesn't play a guitar whatsoever, and the rest of the people they also just kind of sing. And if a song doesn't have them in it, they just kind of stand there. Does that make sense?
Kind of. Conceptually, yes.
When I first saw them, I was genuinely kind of bummed that they didn't actually, dust off the old bass and drums and stuff, because Tony could fucking play, And but no, I mean, it makes sense for them to have a backing band. That's what a lot of big time musicians do.
Yeah, sure.
They have a pickup band. So, anyway, it looked like it was a fun time, and that's really what these shows are all about. So. The flip side of that coin is that this episode, not so fun, but we're gonna get through it.
You didn't think it was fun? I thought it was fun. I've got a lot of fun notes.
Here's the thing: you didn't see the first draft,
Gotcha.
of this fucking episode. So I was watching this and I was like, I have nobody to talk to about this, but I think that this at one they were not supposed to release that episode in the second season of this. I think they had an idea, they shot it, they're like, it's not working, and then for some reason they put it in the lineup, but then they actually had this one like a full other draft of a radio show uh, premise. That's totally what this feels like to me. It's just too similar.
Well, again, I didn't see that other one, and this one, I mean, was silly. I thought for an episode though, like the story made sense. Like
Yeah,
the
because
plot was
this was the
there.
same plot. It was exactly the same thing. Ironically, I really liked the second season episode with the last radio station because it was so bonkers. And that season, they really tried to ground things, and it didn't work. So that episode made no sense. They pretended to be an English band, and then everybody in the school loves this fucking band. And then the literally the FCC comes after them, and then they set up a sting operation. Like, it's crazy. It's actually my favorite episode from the last season, and it just so happened that that was the one that was spliced in. Jenny came back, but it was really supposed to be shown beforehand because we see in the second episode when Jenny leaves, her and Jake are madly in love, and we don't see any preamble. And while it doesn't make sense that they should be that in love, this episode kind of gives it context because there's more of a flirtation there. Wow. Sorry.
So they really do kind of use this as a vehicle.
Oh, vehicle. Vroom, vroom.
It's the
all of a sudden, Jake and Lorena are a thing.
It's the, like, I see what you're saying. It's like almost the exact same format, just not as fun.
Yeah.
Format, and was the other one like
a radio station?
The other one was a radio station or a school radio station?
It was a school radio station. It was literally a pirate radio station, right? Because Sly brings in some equipment, and then they end up like accidentally breaking into the frequency of the school radio station. And so Jake puts on this British thing. No, he puts on this thing called Mad Dog, and it's just like this New Yorker tough accent drive time morning DJ. But for some reason, he has this band dog called the Mad something, whatever. It's they're an English band, and they're in town for some reason, and everybody loves their songs, but everybody loves them so much, but they're just playing California Dream songs, and at no point is everyone like, wait a minute, that sounds like the Sharkey.
This is a little suspicious.
Residency band. Yeah. I don't know how much of this I'm going to cut out, but I just need you to know this in your life.
Well, it's good. The context is key, and this is really making this episode hit that much harder. But on the note of having something to edit out, I'm going to mark down this time. You need to spin your microphone so that you're speaking into the buttons on the microphone.
How's that, baby?
Oh, yeah. There we
go.
Better? Yeah.
Okay. I'll put some gain on there before.
Yeah. It was weird. Like, it sounded. Is there a logo on that thing?
Yeah. So that's where it's supposed to be, right? Yeah. You're supposed to see the logo, right?
Yeah, I mean, usually you would have to be like it would be facing you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the logo is supposed to be facing out.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So yeah.
So that looks right, and that makes sense because like you were moving around the microphone, and like you were talking into it, and it sounded like this, but then you'd move to the side, and it would sound like this.
Oh, okay.
But all good. We got that squared away, and I'm gonna mark that time as 8:25 to 09:25 for editing ease. Yeah, okay. So I thought this episode was fun. Obviously, I don't have the backstory of that other episode or like a preconceived notion of what a radio programming episode of Surf Dudes with Attitude.
I don't know what this ham radio is.
Yeah, I don't know what illegal stuff they were doing there. And the whole pirate radio thing, is that like a play on like actual pirate radio?
So we had a theory that that episode was heavily inspired by the movie Pump Up the Volume. Do you remember that? The Christian Slater?
Oh, no.
No, that's the other pirate radio station.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
No, there's literally an episode. There's a movie with Christian Slater where he makes his pirate radio station, and people become obsessed with him in the school, and then some kid calls in and commits suicide. on the line. Yeah, dude, it gets fucking weird and dark. And then, but what he really does is he just likes to masturbate really loudly. And then all of a sudden he's giving out life advice. And the soundtrack to that movie is amazing because it came out in like, I think 91. But the rest of it is dog shit. Like, so it takes itself very seriously if you ever want to look it up.
Dude, the Jesus and Mary chain.
Caper Van Beethoven.
Primal Scream, Soundgarden, Ice-T, Bad Brains. Yeah, dude, this is fucking stat.
Camper Van Beethoven is Cormac, or the guy who does the music for the Coen brothers. So, yeah,
hilarious.
Yeah.
Well,
so
all right, but we digress. Now we're going to get into the actual episode. This radio episode, the only radio episode I know and frankly care about.
thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess without further ado, George is not with us tonight, so it's just the inmates running the asylum here. So, anyway, I guess any housekeeping, if you guys want to get a hold of us, we're at surfdudeswithattitude@gmail.com. Please follow us on, I hate saying this, but Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. That really help us. And if you want to give a little review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, that'd be super helpful. But I'm ready to jump into this episode. Maybe you'll change my mind.
Let's do it. I've got many bones to pick with this episode. So first off, right out of the intro, 1 second into the episode, Boom is in the shot.
Oh yeah,
Boom is in the shot.
I saw there was one instance in season 1, and I think it was episode 15. I want to say that the boom mic was there, and I'm keen to look into it because it's in almost every episode of 90210. Like, it's basically a supporting cast member. It is absurd how often it hits. So I'm always looking for it. It happened a few times in Baywatch. Surprising because it's such a sharp, corny ass show.
Yeah,
but I think they might have cropped most of the ones that they saw out, especially when something went from pan and scan to like, you know, these widescreen televisions and shit. But I missed it. You're saying so? Well, we start at Sharky's right away, right? And they have moved the arcade machines and the band equipment out to make room for what? A drama club is just meeting. What is it during the day?
Yeah, I mean, it's during school. They're doing rehearsal. It's like theater class, you know? They're doing rehearsal for the play in the middle of the cafeteria where the whole school eats.
Okay,
just like
so
every regular school.
I had a note about that. So I mean, while James pulls this up, we had a question last episode, and the California Dreams gods came down and answered it. Tony is still working at Sharky's. So if it is a cafeteria, he's serving himself food that is paid for by either his parents or taxes. And apparently they have run, because the school budget is so low, they can't even afford to have drama club inside the school. So it is now at the restaurant. But the guy, I think this like New Yorkian drama club teacher, who little short king, was like, you'll never work in this restaurant again. So he called it a restaurant, not a cafeteria.
Yeah, that's so weird, but it's on the school's campus. I just don't know. So clearly right here, we can see the booms in the shot.
Oh my God, that is, for anybody listening at home, it is very slight.
Like it's moving.
Okay.
It dips down a little bit more.
That's insane. Because that could have been it could have been a millipede on the wall, and I would not have seen it. I don't know. You got some eagle eyes there, James.
Well, I'm always, that's just like, I can't help it.
Yeah,
I can't.
I'm glad you had, because I'm normally very good at checking that, and I missed it. I failed.
Yeah, so someone get in a time machine and go back 20 years and warn the production crew here. They need to keep the boom out of the shot.
Well, I mean, whose job is that? Is it the camera guy, or is it they'll fix that in editing kind of thing?
Well, they'll always blame the audio guy first. Okay, that's the rule. It's the boom.
This
get
is
the
like
boom out of the shot.
Hierarchy. So it's either it's the boom operator, it's the cinematographer for not dipping down enough, and it's the editor for not catching it. Right.
Or even the director on set not catching it.
Well, I mean, these are such good takes. How could you stop them from like going, like, you know, let them cook, They're improvising on the scene. This is actors playing actors.
Yeah,
This is
it's
like
so
this
meta.
inception of
Yeah,
drama
it's so
happening
meta.
before us. So you can't stop for like little technicalities like that. It's like this is why Christian Bale got so pissed off when people were walking through his shot, you know?
Yeah, it's just, well, and what a funny thing, I even noted this, in the very opening when the actor tells the waitress to go back to the grillery or whatever,
Okay.
I made a note, this drama club is apparently strict method, which I do respect, and that immediately ties back to Christian Bale
Yeah.
on the
He
set
is
of
very
Terminator.
method. And
That's
I
why
don't
he
so
yelled at that guy. That's why he yelled at that guy, is because he was
yes.
that's what he said. He was in the character.
So this is not tech week, although they did say we open in a week. So I was wondering why they were dressed up, because normally you don't rehearse fully dressed up until tech week. But here they are, committing, as you said. It's very important.
As high school students, as a high school drama teacher, you couldn't be more enthused about a bunch of students that are willing to commit to the craft in the cafeteria, or excuse me, at this restaurant.
So Tony has said that he didn't get picked for drama club,
and he was
and he
kind
didn't
of
care.
upset.
But then, as soon as the opportunity and gag presented itself, he's back in. So Tony wants to be an actor. As one guy gets kicked out. Anyway, so Sly comes in. He does a couple catchphrases, which I will not repeat.
Well, I think we should, because yo vava, yo vava, yo vava voom could be our new slogan.
If anybody hasn't listened to a couple last previous episodes, we're having trouble.
Yo vava, yo vava, yo vava voom.
Some of these old catchphrases, because they were specifically from Matt in the first 2 seasons, and we are laying his jersey to rest metaphorically. So we're looking for some more catchphrases. If anybody wants to give us any of their favorite ones.
Hear me out. Like, is Sly going to be in the entire series?
Sly's in the entire series, yes.
So a phrase that he says should be fairly safe, right? And one phrase seems to be saying more every episode. The first
I know
time
you're okay with separating art from the artist, but I have a problem like having stuff that came out of Sly's mouth coming out of my mouth constantly.
You question his ethics. Yeah, okay.
I don't know if it's fully representative of us as a podcast. He's doing variations of Ba-Boom. He's like workshopping it to these people. I don't know what is he so excited about when he comes in.
He's just adding words to it. I feel like by the end of the season, the whole script is just gonna be him saying va va voom, va va voom, va va voom. Like, think about
va,
it.
Va, voom
the last
is actually
episode,
that's an old phrase, right? When you see some you turn into a wolf and your tongue falls out when you see a pretty lady.
That's
right.
We were talking about that.
So
on the last
Ba-Boom is
episode,
specifically his, but Va-Voom is definitely an appropriation of some sort.
Yeah, completely. And I just don't understand why he keeps, like, the first time he does it, it's like va va voom, right? The tried and true. Now the next episode, his workshop idea is just say it more times.
Yes.
I don't know. It's very confusing, but it would be a great corporate slogan for us.
Okay. We'll trademark it. I've done a trademark. I don't know if you have. It took 14 months and like $1,000.
Yeah. And that was fast.
So Sly is very excited because let me just speed run this. He bribed somebody $50 to basically make him the format manager of this radio station, program director. Right. Wow. He had a whole backstory, but I kind of glossed over it. I did notice Lorena called him a ferret again.
Immediately.
So they're just really digging into this thing that I think is really shameful. And but speaking of that, I did actually almost laugh when Jake was doing an impression of Sly. He's like, basically, what do you have to offer other than like, and then he did Sly's little laugh, and I was like,
yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty funny.
Okay, so that's it. I had 2.5 LPEs this episode, and I'm excited to just be honest and transparent about that. Okay, so I thought it was funny how Sam straight up was like, "How did you get this job basically when the school's budget is so low. Like, you went to school. Did you know about your school's budget?
Sure didn't.
Like, okay.
It's just not a topic. I'm not even sure most of the parents of my friends had any idea what the school's budget was.
Isn't that sad? Where it's like now we have to worry about that. It's very dystopian. Where it's like, I mean, I get the old adage of, oh no, we can't have art classes because the the football team needs a new goalpost or some bullshit like that. Yeah, I get that, but the radio station, I've only ever seen a radio station in school in real life and sitcoms when like some kind of plot actually called for it. Did your school have like a radio station or like an AV station?
High school? Hell no. They had a microphone in the main office that you'd talk into. That we would get announcements. That was it.
All right.
There was no radio station. At my college, yes, the college had a radio station, and it was actually kind of decent.
More of a budget there, sure.
Certainly, and it's because that school had a lot of like it had the recording program, which is what I went there for, but their communication school was very big. So they had like them having a on-campus radio station was like almost like a foregone conclusion. They had to do it.
Our high school actually had like a whole class that you could take, and then you were either on camera for the morning announcements, and you saw some people that were like not good on the mic. Like you definitely saw some people that were going to be future Foley artists or gaffers or like boom mic operators that are like getting a little lazy about their job.
Boom in the shot, yeah. Exactly.
But then you saw some people that were super extra theater kids that were like so happy, like I'm going to be a fucking weather person, and it's going to be great. This is my calling. So, anyway,
let's just be thankful that the government's going to be cutting all those courses here soon. So
I mean, just all of them.
We don't need any more weathermen, But yeah, so I have some ideas as to why the school might need to cut the budget, because the next shot we go to the radio station, which is an incredibly well-funded radio station.
Pretty
That's
sick.
Tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment at that time, for sure, without even a doubt. And they even had the most cutting-edge 8-tracks. Okay,
that's true.
But this is not just like a little, humdrum operation. This is like a legitimate radio station. The electric bill on that shit had to be thousands of dollars a day.
It's like the board from Sound City was just in there.
Seriously, it does make sense when you have $250,000 worth of broadcast equipment that your school just cannot continue to.
I mean, are they selling ad space? Like, how are they making any money back?
They say that. That's why Sly doesn't get paid. It's because there's no advertisers. It's a school radio station. There cannot be ads. There cannot be money involved, like transacting of, you buying airtime on this high school radio station.
What is the expenditure though? I mean, other than getting all that equipment, does it cost money to keep it going?
Okay, so it's the same thing with like studios, especially analog gear like that. It's hot. It's really
analog
hot.
gear is a lot. Yeah.
First of all, it's just expensive as fuck. Even back then, even when it wasn't a novelty, that equipment was super. Especially back then, it was super expensive, and all that equipment runs really hot. The electronics in it. So on top of having a room with enough physical space to put all this shit, you have to have HVAC that can move air, that can pump all the hot out of the room so that the person recording or broadcasting isn't sweating their ass off. And
I don't know why they just didn't explain that the way you said it. Why did they just say that?
Because, once you get down into the nitty-gritty details, then it's like, then the radio isn't the budgetary issue, it's the HVAC.
How much do you think
that's a whole different episode? That's a whole different episode.
How much do you think Sly spent on his call music? Because it was pretty legit. I don't.
Well, and it was on the high fidelity of 8-track, so it's not like he scraped, the bottom of the barrel here. He probably spent top dollar to get someone to do that back then. I mean, easily a couple.
But that was
$100.
such a quick turnaround because, like the Tony gets the acting job, and they're like, we open in a week. So this would have had to been almost the same day as Sly gets the thing. So he cuts this thing. So he has to go to a recording studio, obviously, and then he has to get it put on an 8-track, right?
How do they record their own songs?
Oh God, that's like a whole episode where they bring in this fucking recorder, and we had like a
No, I remember that one. Doesn't he
yeah,
like steal the equipment or something, or like
yeah,
it's
and
kind of
then
stolen?
we see I took some photos and sent it to my recording engineer friend, and he was like, yeah, there's really only one cord sticking out of there, and the other one are just kind of sitting there. But to their credit, they're like, oh, nothing recorded. And I'm like, well, no shit, there's literally no mics
Nothing
on
plugged
anything.
in.
So
Yeah.
but Sly has on the sly recorded them with like a little like 4 thing recorder, and then taken it to school and whatever, played it into the school loud
So
system.
theoretically, if he is cognizant enough to do that, he could have theoretically put that together himself.
Yeah, yes, in theory. My question is, jumping a little, is this a class? Because everyone gets their own radio station. I know it's probably an elective, but is this accredited in any way? And does this take place during school hours? Because people are just like listening to it at all random times. It seems seemingly so.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had some questions there. A lot of these segments too seem like they were 12 seconds. So I don't know how they're filling the radio
Yeah,
time
Mark's
throughout the
entire
day.
show could not last longer than maybe 14 seconds. And he has the charisma of like a canvas tote bag.
You know,
I
honestly, I've got more thoughts on that. We'll get to those
Well,
later.
I mean, let's
But
go over
yes,
what everybody has
yeah.
their own. Does Tiffany have her own? Did I miss that? Does she get her own station? Or I don't
Hang on
think
just there.
so.
I don't remember seeing a little vignette for
Okay,
her.
so let's go through it. Lorena has a show about fashion, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. Jake has a show called Shut Up and Listen,
Which is
which
hilarious.
I had a lot of problems. Every time he was very mean and toxic, all these girls in the studio audience are just like whooping it up. Like they're just rewarding him in this terrible thing. And Mark, I guess, Mark is like the gossip guy, I guess.
No, he's like the critic. He's
Yeah,
the
but
critic.
he's like, yeah, okay. Yeah. He's the critic.
He's the critic, which I have some problems with, but we'll get to later. And then what's her name has the bad advice show where she just gives people terrible fucking advice.
Sam,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah, she gives people terrible relationship advice.
So Tiffany and Tony do not have their own show.
No, Tony can't because he's in the play.
And he's working full time. And he's
And
in
I
a
guess
band.
maybe Tiffany is busy at the animal shelter with the animals that hate
Or
her
the
still.
hospital. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's continue on. I I wrote my notes at this point. I was like, oh my! Once they started doing like the montage of all their little shows, I was like, this episode isn't gonna have any fucking music, is it? Like this episode is gonna have zero band shit to talk
I mean,
about. I can
even
just
like
tell.
there was very little background radio music. You know, like
Yeah,
we
it was just
heard
telegraphed
barely
right away.
any music at all.
So
So
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, I was so this all the radio shows are going through. I wasn't sure if it was going through the loudspeakers. People are just like listening to it in the hallway,
No,
but I
it's
guess
on
they
the
have
radio.
boom boxes. Okay.
Yeah. That every time where we hear the radio, somebody has a boombox.
Sure. Okay. Then that's all I got. I mean, and we're gonna head back to the loft. I don't want to jump ahead in case you have any dire thoughts.
No.
Okay.
We can definitely jump to that point. And this I just have a question for a group of people who are in a band who are artistically doing things together. None of these people are supportive of each other's personal endeavors. Every time someone tries to do something outside the band, they're like, "Oh, that was good," and it becomes like a point of contention for at least one episode.
So they're like they're the James Hetfield. They're like they don't want they like this band should be enough. I don't like
I
you pursuing
guess,
anything
yeah.
else.
Dude, seriously, like every time I can think now, every time I was watching this episode and I was thinking back at all the episodes that I've watched so far, and every time somebody is doing something that isn't related directly to the band, the other members are not really supportive.
That's true. They're like
And
stop
often openly
Jason
deriding.
Newsteading.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super unnecessary.
It's so odd because they're all really into the idea of having their own radio shows, but you're right, none of them support each other during it.
Yeah, it's very weird. And as we'll get into it, even with Mark and Tony. Tony wants to be the actor, and then everyone they're not really being supportive. I mean, that's what made me think of it. He comes in and he's got the skull and he's doing the Hamlet bit, and everyone's like, "Oh God, here we go. I don't want to see him act." It's like, it's your bandmate. That's the guy that you like to play
Also,
music
like,
and spend time
easily
with,
him
right?
and Sly are probably like would be the best community theater actors because
dude,
like they bring it.
If those kids were in a high school theater, at least their characters would be fun. They would be like A+ for a high school production of Hamlet for sure. But Sly has to deliver the bad news.
Yeah.
Jake, that nobody likes Jake's show.
Where are these audience scores coming from?
It's the Nielsen rating system.
What kind of
Pete.
Nielsen
Have you ever fucking heard about
it? So what, did he pass them out at school? Is this the next day?
Probably.
This is still in that week-long period.
That's later in the day. They can track the metrics so well. Come on.
So after one, okay, these are just preliminary scores.
That's
okay.
it. And with the smash hit success of Lorena's fashion show, there's no need to waste any time on dwindling ratings with Jake's show. Let's just cut him loose.
Already cutting the lowest.
We're not paying him, but we don't have the budget to pay him. You know what I mean?
So it's odd because the women in the live studio audience loved his show, but the people at school, not a fan of being told what to do in such an aggressive manner.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. If only he could live life behind the fourth wall, you know?
It's something to think about. So did you find it odd? Like, and this has happened for the last 3 episodes. Everybody's creeping on Lorena.
Well, she's the new character, and obviously she's been introduced to be the love interest of one of the guys. And this is in my notes. We won't spoil it yet, but they have to, like, she's like this new character. They have to give her some kind of relevance. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think we're coming hard into season 3 with her getting like main character level exposure.
But yeah, but it's just like she's very flirty, okay, but it also like Mark hits on her, which is, I don't buy. Mark's got so much mad energy. Like, I don't buy when he's like he's trying to get seductive and stuff. With Jake, sure, I can see it, but like Sly keeps hitting, like everybody's hitting on her at all times. And like, I think that happened like when Sam first came in. There was a whole episode dedicated to who could kiss Sam first. It was
kind of weird,
it was
but all right.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I don't know who won that episode. Nobody really wins in that type of scenario.
Yeah, clearly didn't stick, you know. But you know, I don't. It becomes very obvious later in the episode why, but that was becoming clear to me. I was like, who is this new person and why are they so prominently featured?
And they're so familiar. Everyone's just so familiar with her right away.
She's been here the whole time. She was just, you know, not in the band
she definitely
before.
moved to the. Oh, wait, you're right. She didn't. They never said that she moved to this. You're right. Was they always friends with Lorena? Why weren't they practicing at her place before?
You know,
did she ever hook up with Matt?
That, you know, I don't know the answer to those questions, and I don't even know if the show knows the answer.
Why are you here?
Answer to those questions, because I'm here to talk about the insane amount of money that they're wasting at this radio station.
Okay.
I mean, realistically, they keep talking about this budget, but then you look at that radio station and it becomes super obvious that a quarter of that campus's utility bill is that fucking radio station.
Like the lights are flickering on the football field.
Seriously, like all the equipment in there, you could launch a rocket to Mars with that.
Only.
So, anyways, I was, you know, wondering why the school was so pressed and how Sly inherits this thing and is expected to turn it around in like 2 days. Like they give him the opportunity.
Is that why he got this on the cheap? Like he got this for pennies on the dollar?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, maybe
because
that's why.
This is
It
a
was
pump and dump
ship.
scheme?
Yeah, it was a sinking ship. They knew it was a sinking ship and they're like, let's give it to this weasel-faced fucker.
Again, the ferret face thing.
Yeah, also I need to why does that bother you so much?
It's a good point.
It seems like somebody called you ferret-faced.
No,
back in the
don't
day.
say that because then I'll think like people were thinking it. No, I don't think I have a rodential face. This happened in
You
the first
don't.
couple seasons where they would call Sly rat faced all the time, and I was like, that's like very specific and pointed. I don't know why like that it always felt offensive, but it's basically been the last 3 episodes that she's called him ferret faced. You know, at least like when you call someone a rat, it could mean they're slimy or they're smarmy or whatever, but like a ferret face is very specific to somebody's bone structure and their cheeks.
Yeah, no, that's why they're doing it. It was the 90s, dude.
That again, this is your catch-all response for
It was the
something.
90s. It was the 90s.
It's the Clintonian era.
You know,
deal with it, bro.
Shit that flew back then wouldn't fly today as easily.
So this episode had a ton of set changes. Like we were going constantly, so we're gonna blaze through. But we're back at the radio station, the very expensive money suck of a radio station. I guess I thought this was the one of the classroom sets, but they actually try to make it look underground. I don't know if you know, especially when Jake comes in later.
Yeah, people walking. You could see legs walking in the background. Yeah.
Did you peep who this principal character was played by?
No. What is he known for?
His name is Earl Bowen, and he's a very famous character actor, but most notably probably he's in the Terminator franchise 1, 2, and 3 as the psychologist.
Oh, shit.
The psychiatrist. And do you get it now? Because later in the episodes he says, "I'll be back." He's acting his fucking face off, and I love it because he like shows up to work. This show, it has a lot of great character actors like that are just kind of sprinkled in.
Well,
you know?
and his character is fun. He's like a slightly more amusing Mr. whatever his name is from Saved by the Bell.
Mr. Belding, sure.
Yeah, Mr. Belding.
I would say that.
But what's funny is we cut back to this scene, and the first thing I think as we come back to the scene is, are Jake and Lorena going to become an item? And then later in the scene.
Yeah. So you're talking about the scene where they barricade themselves inside, right?
No, I guess it's not in the same scene. It's later.
You could just sense the sexual tension before that even happened.
I knew it was coming. Well, and I knew from the moment Lorena entered, like she was going to become someone's love interest. I knew that was happening.
That's true.
I didn't think it was going to be Jake because she and Jake have previously had some tension.
They've had some tension.
But apparently that was sexual tension.
Yeah. So it's usually a hop, skip, and a jump away from tension to sexual tension. But so we're at Sharky's, and I just want, before we get to why, Sharky says pizza. This is big. We've never seen pizza at Sharky's.
Pretty good.
This is definitely like a catered pizza that they just put on the table. That's what it seemed like to me. So anyway, we are told more awful news that they're going to shut down the radio station. And Mark says in the most Matt-like tone, "Hey guys, we should start a petition to save the radio station," which is the dorkiest thing ever, but like, God love him. He's such a gentle man.
Was this was the moment, I'm pretty sure. Was this the moment that Mark and Tony, this is the first time that Mark and Tony have come into contact since Mark's review of Tony's acting?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, we should mention that Mark gave a terrible review of Tony.
A scathing review of his friend's show.
And they had this show. So conceivably this radio show has been going on for at least a week or two. That's what we're saying, right? Because Tony, like, which is very surprising. I thought we would have definitely seen Tony at this play at some point because they definitely propped up this plot as if
It
it
was a
was
chunk
going
of
to
the
be a plot.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I thought that would be its own episode actually, but
Yeah.
they blazed through it. Yes, so this is the moment that their two are meeting again. Tony is super pissed, and I actually got an LPE out of this scene. If you believe it.
I would, and I want to say I got one out of this scene.
We had a simultaneous orgasm here with our laughter.
Jeez. Oh, we timed it right.
I will say that it was when Tony's just like being a dick to him, and which I love. And then Mark says something, and he's like, the way what you just said was grammatically incorrect. And yeah, it's just his delivery. The writing's not great, but that's a great line.
He crushed it in this episode as usual, but even like in the very first scene, his physical bit and then accepting the role in Hamlet.
Yeah.
Like that was, in terms of this show, great acting.
Yeah.
It was great.
He's always great. I really wish he'd come on this podcast and take our accolades.
One thing I just could not understand, though, was how Mark, who suffered from crippling anxiety because of feeling judged about being on stage, how easily he became a very harsh critic of not just random people, but his friends.
It didn't make
honestly,
any sense.
Like Tony's ire here, I completely sympathize. And if they would have had to have duked it out, I would have been okay with that.
Wow. I mean, I think Tony would have won.
Definitely.
Out of fisticuffs.
And Mark would have deserved it. And I guess that's my point. Because it's like, dude, these people just propped you up. They just alleviated you from the crippling performance anxiety that you had. And the first thing you want to do is go start a radio show where you're criticizing them. It just, it's just.
As you can tell with this show, once you get a microphone in front of you, you feel so confident and powerful. You don't care what bridges you burn.
Yeah.
So that's all it took for Mark to just get a little sense of power, and then he wielded it like he found his dad's gun.
I actually think. Okay. Let me just straighten this out. We're gonna straighten this out a little bit. So first, we're back at this practice space. They're annoyed with Tony coming around doing the Hamlet shtick. Sly tells Jake he's losing his show. Lorena show's more popular. Then the next scene is Tony, Sam, and Tiffany at Sharkey's, and they're listening to the radio, and that's where Tony hears the harsh criticism.
Yeah.
By Mark on the radio. Okay. And then the next scene is back at the radio station. Lorena's doing her show. Sly is there. And that's when the principal comes in.
Okay.
To tell them it's getting shut down. And then we're back at Sharky's again. And this.
Is there a point to all this?
Yes, because I think. Oh, no. I thought maybe there was going to be a moment where they fought, like physically fought, because I remember Tony chasing after Mark, but Tony is just annoying Mark. He's mad.
Which is great.
And Mark deserves it, because that's some bitch shit that he's trying to pull.
It's plus like you're a new kid at school. You grab any friend you can get.
Well, and these people helped cure your crippling performance anxiety. And the first thing you're going to do is start a radio show.
They also helped you bury the hatchet with your cousin that you've seemingly hated for 5 years or so.
It's so obnoxious. It's obnoxious, but this is also the moment where Jake incepts Lorena with the idea of, if we're going to try something radical to save this radio station, you should sit there. And possibly the funniest thing I've ever seen in this show, Jake, his rebellious manifesto is incredible, especially from what happens later in the episode, but his rebellious manifesto sounds like it was written by somebody who's never been rebellious in their life. Did that not strike you as like, what's like the number one rule of Fight Club? You don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah, if you have to explain how much of a rebel you are
you a
chances are
rebel?
you're more
Yeah.
aligned with Mark and Matt than Jake. I thought Jake was kind of like an asshole in this episode. Like,
Well, he was
yes,
mad.
I think because he was just constantly shitting. I guess he's hurt, and hurt people, but he was shitting all over everybody else's radio shows, and his show was just like hey, fuck you,
Pretty
listen to me
negative.
kind of thing. Yeah, it was very
Pretty
negative.
negative.
And then the only real thing that he brought to it was like, I guess, showing Lorena. Like, Lorena was the badass in this episode. Jake was just kind of a hanger on. I guess he kind of have a character arc at the end when he like dresses up in this suit that's 4 times the size of him, and I don't know, he gives the town speech. He gives the Independence Day speech.
We'll get to that. There's
Yeah,
I have
so
a lot of notes.
but you're right. We're like the principal at this point. So Lorena takes Jake's advice. She barricades herself inside the radio station and demands that they at least get to talk to the school board and have their demands at least discussed. This is where the principal says, "I'll be back." Now you understand how great of a joke that is.
Yeah,
that I
that's
probably
genius.
didn't get as a kid. And then this is where the tension turns into full-on sexual tension. And then I guess everybody in the school and everybody in the radio land hears them smooching. And did you see the two
And
guys
they're really
yeah,
going at
you
it.
see the two guys like do a potato fist bump situation, and they're like, yeah,
No,
I am into these fellow teenagers sucking face.
well, I mean that actually makes a lot more sense, because in the next scene when everyone is out at Sharky's kind of analyzing the kiss heard round the school, Mark is like really into it. I think he like might be a voyeur because he's
I think
really into it.
there's a cuck chair situation in Mark's future.
And then he gets ruthlessly trolled by Tony.
Which I loved. I
in
laughed
the
there
most
too.
hilarious way possible.
When Tony was mocking him as he was talking,
they got me.
great.
I was like, man, they're gonna make like these two have this little bro fight now. That's gonna be a part of this episode. And Tony pranking him at the end of that surprised me. And
I almost wrote down, I was like, is he quitting the band? Do we actually get a band? No.
They got me. They got me good.
Yeah.
But Mark is definitely a voyeur. He's way too excited about all of that. And anyways, so the stand down at the standoff at the radio station results in the school board being willing to convene a special meeting. They convened a special meeting to rule on the budgetary restraints and
What
cutting.
is it that day? Is this taking place that day?
I guess
all these old people are just fucking available to go to Sharky's?
Listen. When one kid locks themselves in the school radio station and
an
won't
insurance
stop
problem, I think.
broadcasting,
Yeah.
that's serious. And you're even willing to host a very serious school board meeting about budget cuts at Sharky's.
Yeah. The fact that these children would have
it's neutral ground,
say.
and they didn't have to build another set. It's the best of both worlds.
Okay, so I want to say that when I think this was the writers kind of like tongue-in-cheeking us at this point, where she's like, we want to have, like, we want to talk to the school board basically, and then the principal's like, well, where do you want to do it? She's like, how about Sharky's? And he was like, okay. Like, it was such a, all right, I guess we're having this thing at Sharky's again, because everything is at Sharky's. That had to be a very meta, self-aware moment for the writers, because they're like, are we going to build another set for like an auditorium? Fuck no, we're not.
No, she says it. She says neutral territory.
The cafeteria Is
We got to
neutral
meet on
territory?
neutral ground. I mean, even though they would certainly have an advantage at the place they spend most of their free time at.
No, this is the boom mic operator not wanting to be a part of a set build, and
Yeah,
and he went into late at night and he wrote down the script.
He just changed the cards. Yeah, of course. So, anyways, we're at Sharky's for this special convening
This
of the
fucking
school
Law and Order
board
Criminal Intent
to get down to the
ending.
bottom of it. It's very serious, even though the setting is not. And
There's surfboards on the wall.
they're waiting. They're waiting for Jake, and there's maybe a fear that he won't show up. But then who busts in the door? Mr. Gordon Gekko himself, the corporate mastermind, former rebel, but now corporate mastermind, Jake. He shows up in a suit, as Pete said, that is 3 sizes too big, and he understands in the 6 hours between when they stopped the protest and are having this meeting, he has completely analyzed the budget and, in fact, made suggestions as to where the school board should make minuscule other cuts so that they can collectively save enough money to keep the radio station.
I mean, he obliterated his parents' ink cartridge for this, and at no point does he actually say, hey, you could cut a little from here and a little from there.
Well, those details aren't really relevant.
Judge, jury, and executioner.
It doesn't matter what gets cut as long as the radio station stays
The teen
open.
pregnancy program is getting slashed so they can fucking have their bullshit radio show.
Pete, some schools we have the money to fund the football team and the radio station and the family planning.
This school cannot afford its own cafeteria.
We can just have one. Football team's got to go. Pregnancy awareness and planning got to go. Radio station can stay.
They have a massive recycling program because every time we go to the hallway, for no reason, it just is like, guys, please recycle. That's it. So it's a big thing. Maybe that budget could get cut, the promotional recycling budget.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what's a bigger waste of money. A room that is barely used in a high school with thousands of dollars worth of equipment in it that require thousands of dollars of electricity to operate, or convening a special school board meeting at Sharky's, and the only evidence you lay forth as to the benefit of the radio program was the last 6 days of you and your friends, your 6 friends, not the entire school, just the last 6 days of you and 5 other people, and the fairly insignificant life lessons that you learned along the way. You know, that should easily justify a $50K a day operating cost, you know?
Yeah,
personally.
We need that HVAC. It's not going to cool itself down. You're right. Everything he mentions, it could have been learned in a myriad of other ways.
Would have been. Those were lessons that they would have learned in some other facet of life that didn't cost $50,000 a day.
Do you think it's just because they went through the whole thing? Like they dressed up, they sat here, they actually wanted this. Is that why this is just like charity? Like, fine, you know what? This was going to get cut at the end of the school. When you graduate, you're not going to give a fuck if this is here anymore. So we'll just placate you. Do you think that petition actually worked that Mark started? What about that? Nobody talked about it.
I honestly don't know why the school board. Maybe they felt threatened. Maybe they felt if they didn't, they would get beaten to death by pizza and surfboards. I don't know. I don't know why. They didn't even look at the papers. Like Jake
basically was like, we know the numbers. All
Jake's
right?
like, I did the numbers. Like, trust me, bro. And they're all just
he
like,
has
all right.
access to those numbers.
I apparently everybody does, because everyone knows what this school's budget is.
When did the auditor come and actually ask to see their papers? All right, this is like a Breaking Bad scenario.
Is it? Yeah, it would not surprise me if this entire show is just a drug front. Okay, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this entire show was just a way for somebody to smuggle drugs into the country.
The way that the gang talked about radio as if this was going to be a thing forever. It was so, because at the end they're like, this is a super important thing to have We Will Always Have It. Do you think that they are like at least partially responsible for celestial radio
No.
dying?
They will. Yes. Okay. First of all. Second of all. Geez. They won't even remember this next episode. I won't even remember this next episode.
I wrote that down too. The radio station and Tony being an actor will never come up again.
Yep, 100%.
Them being in a band might never come up again if this season is any kind of trajectory. So anyway.
Yeah, I honestly was really surprised that there was no I mean, not even rehearsal. We got nothing.
They had the instruments there. They were right there.
Yeah.
They're right there at the loft at any point.
They could have come back into a scene of them like just finishing rehearsing. That would have been oh, okay.
Great.
Well, at least they did the band thing. And I think the one last thing that this episode got me with was when the principal ran after Sly saying, "Winkle!"
Yeah, that's what I had. The ending is so fucking cartoonish. And I was like, okay, sure. That's the only trivia for this whole episode is that is the Terminator thing, and I'm glad I mentioned
that. That's pretty sick. I mean, between that and Mr. Belvedere, like that, those are both.
Yeah,
that's really fun.
So I forgot to mention this episode aired September 24th, 1994. In case anybody's keeping track. Anyway, so now that we've talked about it, do you still like the episode? Is it your favorite one of the season?
Yeah, I thought, honestly, it was nice to see. It was nice to get some clarity on like why Lorena is here, and they're going to become an item. I wonder if this is going to create any tension with Tiffany, who's got an entire lifetime of
she must have felt a certain way hearing them kiss.
Right beneath her skin. She's going to pop soon, and somebody is going to suffer because of it.
And she didn't get her own show. Nobody even asked her what she liked.
Telling you,
she's got to hear two people. She's got to hear her ex suck face.
She is like one bad episode away from Ted Kaczynski.
She's one bad episode of California Dreams away, and I still similarly feel how I did in the beginning. This was kind of goofy, but you know what? It's better than the Dream episode from the first season, which was horrendously bad. I don't even want to talk about it. So
I didn't think this episode was that bad. Tony had a lot of really great jokes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of showcasing of Tony as a character that we don't normally get to see in episodes. So that was fun. We got some clarity on Lorena. It was like unnecessarily complicated. Like this plot could have. I thought from the beginning the same way as you did. I thought this episode was going to be about Tony being in the play. And like some weird stressful dynamic that was going to create with him in the band.
You're right. This was overly complicated.
The radio station thing like kind of comes out of nowhere, and then we've got both of these things.
Sly gives a whole backstory about how he got it. Whereas like if we want to jump to say about the bell, like they accidentally found the radio station. They were looking for something in the basement. And they're like, what is this stuff? And they pull the big sheet off, and it's a little radio station. And Belding is like, oh, yeah, that thing. Like, yeah, if you guys want to mess around with it, see if it works. So that's it. We didn't need a whole backstory about Sly bribing somebody and then getting in on it. And then the budget cuts happen and whatever. They could have just been going, and then we needed to cut it.
Yeah, I that's like the one question mark I have about this episode is why.
The one?
Why? Yeah.
You're very flexible.
The big one. But I thought by and large this episode had a lot of really good jokes, had a lot of like really sticky bits. But
sticky bits, baby.
I again feel like this season everything's just a little bit tighter. I don't know. Everything seems a little more. What's the word I'm looking for? Blended in, like the physical humor and the actual joke, like the written jokes, the delivery of those jokes, the it just looks more like a real show. It looks like this is what they wanted season 1 to look like. But so far in this season, every episode, like this episode was way funnier than the episode before that, than 2.
Okay.
In my opinion, I just thought there were a lot of really funny jokes that worked. Some of the times they try some of the sticky shit, it doesn't work. But in this episode, it went well. Even like the bit with Sly always tricking the principal, like, yeah, really sticky, you know.
Yeah, didn't he say something at the end like, "I'll get you, Winkle"? Like,
That's why he says Winkle, because he's like, I'm gonna punish you kids, and Sly's like, please, not another month of hall passes, and he's like, you better believe it's gonna be another month of hall passes. Oh, Winkle, like, because apparently when a principal says something, they can't change their mind. Like if they say
it's very cartoonish.
if you trick them into saying that, they have to abide by that.
It's like
forever.
Roger Rabbit. You don't. You do. You don't. Okay, well, there's no awards to give out on this one because there's no fucking music whatsoever. But if you want to guess the episode plot,
what's the
for
title?
next week? Now, I just want to say I remember this episode very vividly. I almost want to say that it touched me as a child. It is called Blind Dates.
Somebody's gonna date somebody that's blind.
There it is. That is exactly who do you think it's going to be? Who do you think it's going to be?
Sly.
Yes. So Sly meets a girl online and is thrown for a bit of a loop when he meets her in person and learns that she's blind. She's actually a very famous character actress that's going to be on next week's episode.
But what else has she been in?
She's been in a lot. You'll see. Meanwhile, Sam and Tony decide to try their luck at online dating too. There's online dating in 1994.
94? That makes sense.
I mean, there was video dating still at that point. You would get VHS tapes.
Yeah,
I'm not that old, but I heard about it.
It was much more the Wild Wild West, I'm sure, but that does make sense. Internet did exist then, so.
Well, I mean, that's going to be a fun one because I specifically remember so many scenes from this, and I have not visited it since I saw it as a kid. So, anyway, her name is just, you did want to, Nikki Cox.
Amazing.
She done a ton of TV stuff. But yeah, she plays a blind girl. I thought she was actually blind as an actress because she played it so well.
No
Again,
way.
I was 11 years old. So we're going to see.
I don't believe that. Hang on. I'm going to look up her IMDb. We can obviously save this for next week too, but damn, she was also in Terminator.
Yeah, she was. She
and
was one of the little girls at the arcade. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely at Baywatch.
Nutty Professor to the Clumps.
She was on like a long time show as well.
Ghost Whisperer.
No, she was like the young daughter on one of these shows.
Damn, she was on Norm. Wow, yeah, I mean that's crazy. Steve Harvey show, Drew Carey show. The Nanny, Boy Meets World, damn. Yeah, so she's if these actors are D, she's like C.
Yeah, I'd say that. I'd say so. Anyway,
moving on up, baby.
So it's the Wingdings alphabet. Anyway, so that's gonna do it for our episode of budget cuts and for this episode of Surf Dudes with Attitude. You can hit us up at surfdudeswithattitude@gmail.com and then follow us on Instagram and YouTube and all that stuff. Damn. So we got some interviews that are coming up that we'll talk about, and I don't know. James, we're gonna keep barreling through this season. Try to get some cast members on this show. For fuck's sake.
That would be sick. I'm sure they'll hate it.
Yeah. We're very complimentary of some of them. I don't understand why they're not coming on. Okay, well, I guess I'm stalling to try to find some kind of
No. I think you hit all the buttons.
I don't know it. I will say in the eternal words of Earl Bowen, I'll be back.
Is that, you want that to be the new slogan? I'll be back.
But that's the one for this week.
Yeah, I think we hit all the points here. The only other thing I have to say is our new corporate slogan: "Vavoom, vavoom, vavoom, vavoom."
Thanks for hanging out, James.
I'll be here all week. Listen to my new radio show. It's on for the next 12 seconds.
You kind of are like Mark there. Like you throw in little sound effects, and that's your whole show. That's the whole shtick.
Well, this has been Law and Order. I am James. You're not? Are you not going to say? We're trying to wrap it up here.
I thought I did. I was going to cut together something, but yeah. Anyway, this is Pete from New York City. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next week.
See you later.
This has been a Waning Moon production.